Big Dumb Movie is a comedic podcast that often contains obscene language and outlandish commentary. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Big Dumb Movie, where we discuss movies of the big dumb variety. I'm your host, Corey, and I'm joined today with one co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, Josh.
What's going on? Let's get spooky, everybody.
Josh, did you know that Whipstaff Manor is the same house that they filmed the Backstreet Boys video, Backstreet's Back, in?
Oh, God. I did not, but now that you mention it, I see it. I totally see it.
I come in with the facts. I'm in here, I'm spitting facts, letting people know.
Right off the bat, dude.
That was a time, wasn't it? Backstreet Boys and NSYNC wars.
Holy shit, man. I grew up with an older sister and a younger sister, so they were into that shit. They were super.
Yeah.
At the Spice Girls, 98 Degrees. Oh, God. It was so fucking awful because I had to hear it on both ends.
Hanson?
Oh, man. You already know it.
I remember that whole craze, and the way that it impacted me was obviously through people in school, but also I had AOL around these early years. And back in the early AOL days, you would just like enter random chat rooms and they all had like a theme. Cause like AOL, like chat systems were relatively new on the old school dial-up days, and like people didn't really know what to do with them. So they gave like rooms themes, and then you would join the theme. But one theme that I used to join cause I thought it was funny was Backstreet Boys versus NSYNC. I would join those AOL chats and just watch people argue with each other. I just thought it was funny.
Oh, God, dude, yeah. Just sit back and just grab a bunch of popcorn, you know?
Yeah. I used to also join the Simpsons trivia chat room, which, I mean, I could never participate in because, like, these people were like, you know, the comic book guy in Simpsons? They were like that of Simpsons. Oh. The shit that people would ask in these episodes, like, what's the fucking taxi number in the episode where Homer has a brother or whatever. The shit that people would ask is crazy.
Fuck, yeah, nah. Couldn't do that with, like, my favorite show. Yeah, I don't pay attention to minute details like that. Holy shit. What kind of fucking
Simpsons
question
has
is that?
Some crazy fucking fans.
I want to punch somebody if they ask me a question like that.
Hey, you join the Simpsons trivia chat room, you know what you're getting yourself into. But we're not here to talk about The Simpsons. We're here to talk about another 90s property. Well, I guess this isn't technically a 90s property, but this is a big part of it. The 1995 movie Casper. This movie had a $55 million budget, and it made $287 million box office. So this movie was a smash success.
Yeah.
Josh, I take it you watched this movie when you were a young man?
Yeah, speaking of my little sister, this was our jam. This shit was lit when I was a kid.
Was this before or after you started watching the Nightmare on Elm Street movies?
Oh, definitely before, because I didn't know what was like, you know, solid cinema.
I mean, I watched this movie too around that time. It was a big deal, man. The marketing push for this movie was like huge. I don't know if you remember like the lead up to it, but there was a lot of commercials, a lot of billboards, a lot of hype surrounding this movie. I think I went to Universal Studios somewhere before this movie came out, and there was like a lot of promo within the park and stuff. There was a Pepsi commercial that I remember too.
Really?
Yeah, so I know there was a few of them, but one of them that I remember is like really awful. It shows scenes from the movie, and it shows Fatso getting sucked in the vacuum. And you know when he looks at Dr. Harvey and he says, "This sucks."
Yeah.
They replaced the audio with Pepsi.
What?
Yeah. And even as a kid, I was like, okay, that's awful. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's... What?
I tried to find that commercial online, and I can't find it.
Oh, shit, man. It's like, oh, I could only find the Batman Pepsi commercial. It's not the right one.
Well, I found that other Pepsi commercial where, like, Casper, like, can't pull the Pepsi out of the fridge or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he, like, dives into the fridge and tries to pull the Pepsi out, but he can't because it's solid. I think that's the joke. I don't know.
Those
it ain't
clever
it either.
bastards. Now, I don't remember any marketing. I just remember a post Casper world. You know, like this movie, once it was like had come out, it was everywhere. You know, didn't they like reboot a cartoon series or something?
I think they did.
I believe that they also started showing the old reruns. It got so many sequels. You know.
Yeah, it got a direct sequel, which is just like an animated movie. And it also got the infamous Casper and Wendy, which I'm pretty sure stars Hilary Duff. A young Hilary Duff.
Oh.
That's pretty cool, right?
No? What is she up to? Oh, man.
She probably has like an Instagram and like, I don't know, promotes makeup or something. I have no idea. I'm making this up, but maybe it's true.
Who knows?
Anyway, this was a Universal movie, like I mentioned. Steven Spielberg was an executive producer, which automatically just makes it a big deal. He was like Universal's like golden child for like a long time, you know?
Yeah, if he puts his name on something, you know it's going to be quality.
Sometimes.
Well, I mean, you know, are you suggesting AI isn't? You know?
I have really mixed feelings about AI, and I'd love to do a podcast on it. That's one of the ones, like, I wonder where Steve lands on a movie like AI. You know, my podcast co-host who sometimes hears Steve. I have a feeling Steve either hates that movie with, like, an unrelenting passion, or he thinks it's a fucking masterpiece.
I find it fascinating. I don't know if I would call it good. I find it fascinating because, you know, it was originally supposed to be a Kubrick film, and it kind of ping-ponged back and forth over the years.
Yeah, that there's like kind of an interesting story behind it.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like about that movie is that there's a Chris Rock robot.
Did you kind of shoot me over the propeller thing? Yeah, I don't need to go through it. I was considering it, but I changed my mind.
Yeah.
It always made me wonder, like, are there a lot of Chris Rock robots? Like, does everyone have a Chris Rock robot? Like,
imagine Kubrick writing notes and a Chris Rock robot.
are they mass-produced?
Right.
But back on to Casper, it was a 1995 movie directed by Brad Silberling. Now, he wasn't the original director. They ended up changing directors. I forget the original guy's name. But Spielberg did want Steve Barron to direct this, who was the director of the 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Ooh, a solid choice.
Yeah, absolutely. And he wanted him to do it because of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. But it didn't go that way. We got a different director. I do want to talk about the time this came out in. I kind of always have fun doing this. I like to talk about other movies that were out at the same time. Maybe we can go over that a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So this was May 26th, 1995 was when this one came out. So I'm going to tell you some other movies that were out around the same time. So in April 95, a little movie called Three Ninjas Knuckle Up came out.
Oh, man. I'm not familiar with that film.
It's a masterpiece, suffice to say.
Yeah? Well, I mean, is there a dance sequence?
You know it.
Oh, thank God. I'm going to have to check that one out.
Is it even a 90s movie if there's not a dance sequence? Jury Duty, the Pauly Shore movie, came out mid-April. That was potentially out at the same time as Casper in theaters.
Oh, one of his big winners.
Pebble and the Penguin was an animated movie that came out mid-April. I feel like that movie was playing in my house a lot. My little brothers liked it. Shout out to Robert and Tyler.
I know one of my ex-girlfriends begged me to fucking watch that with her, but I just never did. No, what the fuck is that?
There's another movie that came out in April called Top Dog. I just saw the poster, then I read like the short synopsis. The poster is amazing. It's Chuck Norris and like a dog side by side as like cop partners. Yeah.
That sounds like a bad joke. It sounds
Chuck
like
Norris and a dog, they're cops. It's real.
The dog sniffs out the crime, and then Chuck Norris ends it.
He smells crime. What if he can smell crime?
What if he can smell crime?
That's amazing. A Goofy movie that came out in April.
I fucking love a Goofy movie.
Me too. One of my favorite animated Disney movies, easily. Here's one I'm sure you know. The Village of the Damned remake with Christopher Reeve. That was potentially playing at the same time as Casper in theaters. So if you want to catch like a spooky movie, you got Casper, you got Village of the Damned.
Oh man, the double feature, you know? Or you take your kids to go see Casper while you go watch Village of the Damned.
I take it you've seen that movie?
Oh, I fucking love that movie. In an obvious, ironic sort of way. It's not... I find it pretty funny.
Yeah. Also, Johnny Mnemonic, which is a Big Dumb Movie classic, that came out in May, so that was potentially playing at the same time as Casper.
I only know that from your podcast. It's one of the few Keanu Reeves movies I haven't seen.
Cyberpunk classic, my friend, I'm telling you.
Yeah?
It is a lot better than I thought it was going to be, I'll say that.
Yeah, I know it's got like a huge cult following.
Yeah, it does. I know a guy that's like super into it, like unironically.
Oh, man.
There's a movie that I saw that, I mean, you've probably never seen, I've never even heard of it until I was looking at movies around this time. It's called Ice Cream Man.
I've seen parts of this.
It's like a Clint Howard horror movie, like Clint Howard's on the cover, which is just,
Yeah.
You don't put him on the cover.
I want to say I've stumbled across a few select scenes from that movie on YouTube. Like the main kid, like it's like the guy kills kids or some shit. Again, I haven't seen the whole thing. But like the main kid is like supposed to be a fat kid, but they clearly just shove a pillow up his shirt, you know? It's like so poor looking, you know? Grandpa's stunt double in Three Ninjas is more convincing, you know?
Yeah. There's another movie that I really liked as a kid, also in May of '95. It's called A Little Princess. I didn't tell a lot of my guy friends that I was into a movie called A Little Princess because I would have been, shunned from a group of boys. But it's a good movie, man.
Well, I mean, I used to get those looks when I told people, like, growing up, guys don't really give a shit, but, like, you say something like, Princess Bride, and automatically they're like, what? I'm like, no, watch it. That's fucking solid cinema, sir.
Yeah, that was kind of one of those, too. And the last one I have written is also May of '95, of course. It's a movie called Problem Child 3.
Oh.
Have you seen Problem Child 3?
I haven't seen the Problem Child movies in a while, and I get them kind of mixed up. Right off the bat, I just really remember John Ritter and Gilbert Gottfried and stuff like that.
Yeah, John Ritter and Michael Oliver are not in Problem Child 3. They recast the main kid, they recast the dad. It is a really awful third installment to the trilogy. It deviates so much from what this series is. It's horrible.
So you're saying he befriends some Native Americans and fights evil white businessmen over garbage?
Yeah, you know what? It is the Three Ninjas Knuckle Up of the Problem Child series. It definitely is.
Oh man, so I'm not watching that one.
No.
I mean, unless somebody requests it.
Maybe it'll be a podcast one day.
Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of people, asking for Problem Child 3, so I think we're good for now.
Yeah. But on to Casper itself. We'll talk about the movie now. I think we can get right into it. This movie opens with a haunted house scene. Josh, do you want to tell us about the haunted house scene?
Yeah, it's kind of a play on your typical, haunted house scene. Couple kids who are clearly were, dared or something into sneaking into this house and taking a picture as proof so they can have bragging rights for their friends. And they sneak in, it's all spooky, lightning, your stereotypical, haunted house played up for horror in this opening bit. And they get in the house, and they start arguing over who's going to take the picture because they both need it to be in the picture in order to look super wicked awesome, you know? So as they begin to argue, it's like a monster kind of thing where you hide your monster for the first part of the movie, you know? Like an opening kill. It's like your opening spook. And Casper's like hidden, you know? You don't really see him. But, you know, he offers very nicely to take the picture for him. And he does. And, you know, they were, you know, kind of spooked, you know. Some would say, you know, frightened, but they hightail it out of there.
They sure do. One of the kids is Squints Palledorous from The Sandlot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's the kid that forcibly kissed Wendy Peppercorn.
Okay. Oh, so, all right. I knew that kid looked familiar. I was like, you know what? I'll look it up at another time.
What are you doing, Squints? But yeah, that's the setup. So there's a house that's clearly, I guess, haunted. There's just some ghosts that, like, live there.
It's just a little ghost problem, you know?
We're gonna get into this, but, like, I don't really understand, like, the rules of what the fuck is going on in this movie, like, at all,
Oh, yeah,
man.
no, at one point, the movie just straight up lies to you. It just straight up says, this is a rule, and then proceeds to break it for the rest of the movie. Well, we'll get into it.
Yeah, I'm sure. After we learn that, like, all right, we got a haunted house, we see our villains of the movie. We got Kerrigan and Dibbs. Dibbs is played by Eric Idle, and Kerrigan is Kathy Moriarty. I don't really understand the relationship. I don't think it's ever explicitly said, like, what it is. Maybe they're a couple, maybe they're business partners, maybe Dib is her assistant or brother or fucking cousin, I don't know.
See, growing up, I was always under the impression that it was like her lawyer or something like that, but yeah, rewatching it, they never say. I was trying to figure out the relationship too.
Maybe he's like her brave Sir Robin, knight to protect her. Obviously, Eric Idle is famous from like Monty Python and stuff, and
he's a hidden gem.
He's really over the top in this movie. He's kind of too good for this, I think. Like I feel kind of bad for him seeing him be in this movie.
Really? I think, you know, he was having a good time.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think so, because he not too terribly long after this, he did like a Disney Channel like exclusive movie where he also played a ghost.
I guess that's what happens when you get older. You just want to do like kids movies.
It's made for TV movies. Yeah, I mean at a certain point, you know, maybe it's a what's it, Julianne Moore kind of situation in Jurassic Park 2. Maybe Eric Idle's paying off some kind of divorce settlement.
Yeah.
Or car payment.
But in the movie, Kerrigan, she's getting like her father's will. Her father just passed, and like the Ben Stein's there doing a cameo. And I guess the dad was super rich, but he just left Kerrigan with this mansion, which she's like not that happy about.
Dibbs, this is all your fault, as usual. If you would have just forged the damn will.
Hey, you know, Carrigan, this is condemned seafront property.
Dibbs, don't you get it? Flipper got more money than me.
Carrigan, the deed's in there. Buccaneers and buried gold, Whipstaff doth a treasure hold.
Treasure? Dibbs, you idiot, get it out.
Well, she didn't learn to be a flower.
Wait, what?
So like the 3 digits you knuckle up, you know, you gotta learn to be a flower.
My God. There's a reference everyone will get. Even I got it. She clearly has not watched Three Ninjas Knuckle Up. She's not at peace with her inner self.
Right, yeah. So
she's like pissed. She's like, okay, I wanted all this money, but all I got was this old mansion, which is, I mean, it's pretty fucking cool, but I mean, she's not happy about it. So like they take like the deed to the house and they throw it in the fire. And like in the fire, we get like a Lord of the Rings like style text like appears in the flames like on the deed, and it's like an old poem or something. It says,
Yeah.
"Buccaneers and buried gold, whipstaff doth a treasure hold." So like they're stoked about. They're like they see that text and like, oh my god, treasure! There's treasure in the house, but like. You guys still fucking believe in treasure? Like, how old are you? Like, what is this? Like, you think you're gonna find treasure? Like, what kind of little kid shit is that?
How many opportunities are you gonna have in life to go on a treasure hunt? Drop what you're doing and go on a treasure hunt.
Surely they don't believe that there's treasure in this house just because there's like some fucking prints on a deed somehow that says that. And like, how did Casper get that shit on the deed and like make it so that it comes only if there's fire?
Well, yeah, I don't know, right? It's never really explained, and I don't care. But like, yeah, I think it's just a very convoluted, kind of sloppy way to get these characters to the house. You know, you could have used. Something a little bit better than, oh, there's buried treasure, Maybe like, she knew there was something in that house. It's her dad, right?
I'm trying to think in my head, like, what would be, like, a good alternative, and,
Stealing the family jewels. I don't know.
Yeah, that's treasure, Josh. We're trying to move away from treasure.
The straight gold, like, treasure, like gold? Man, was this guy... I didn't know my dad was a pirate?
But anyway, so yeah, they want to go to this house. It's in Maine, and they want to, I guess, look for treasure in the house. Okay, fuck it. Like, that's what they're going to do. So they go to the mansion, but obviously that's where Casper and his, like, 3 crazy uncles are. And they need to get these ghosts out of there so that they can find the treasure or look for the treasure or whatever. There's some, like, little gags with them trying to get the ghosts out. And
Yeah, there's, like, a montage of, them trying different methods of getting rid of the ghost problem. The Exorcist guy. This guy, as a kid, used to crack my shit up.
So tell me, you have experience.
I have quite a bit of experience. Not, like exactly doing it, but I've studied it. And I talk to people who have done it. I've seen the videos, and I feel very confident that with my knowledge, I could do it, no problem.
Then you can handle this.
It's no problem. It's like no problem whatsoever. Piece of cake, piece of crumb cake.
No problem, it's a piece of cake,
I'm glad that like worked for someone at least, because I had no idea what the fuck that guy was. I knew he was something. I know what he is now. He's a 70s character from SNL.
What?
Yeah, he's a SNL character from the 70s.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, Guido Sarducci, man into the street. Hello, everybody. Hey, if the Russians had President Reagan hostage, would you trade yourself for him?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. You wouldn't do it.
So I didn't even know that was a reference.
Father Guido Sarducci or whatever. He's played by Don Novello.
I didn't know. That's 7 levels above me. I just thought it was a funny accent. Call me a simpleton.
They break his fucking neck, don't they?
Yeah, right? It's like cartoon humor. Like, does he just die after that? Or is he going to try and twist his head back around?
I like to think he, like, walks into the car, he starts it up, he drives off over a cliff. Like, he's just dead. Like, he, like, dies before the car even goes off the cliff.
Yeah, right. Like, oh, I didn't know his dead. And just drives.
The big one, obviously, is Ray Stantz from Ghostbusters.
Who you gonna call? Someone else.
Like, as a kid, it was cute. As an adult, this is pretty insulting.
I feel the same way. I'm like, no, don't make the Ghostbusters look like some fucking bitches. Like, they took out Vigo. Like, come on.
You do not casually take on Vigo. Vigo the Carpathian. is not to be trifled with. Fuck it, I feel like Slimer could have kicked these other ghosts' ass, right?
Maybe it was just because he wasn't alone. Winston should have been there or something.
Oh yeah, if you had Egon with you, shit would have gotten done.
Yeah, so they also try to get some construction guys in there to just demo the house, but they just get scared away.
After the Ghostbusters thing, that gag wasn't, you know what I mean? I feel like you rode that high. The montage was right in the middle, and it kind of ended on a fart, a wet fart.
Yeah.
Oh, they just scared him. We've seen that already.
They broke a dude's neck. They chased off a Ghostbuster, and then they just chase off some randos.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just.
But we see on the latest episode of Hard Copy, there is a expert, Dr. Harvey. He is what we call a ghost psychiatrist. What he does is he travels across the United States.
Can't even say ghost psychiatrist without me snickering. It's so fucking ridiculous.
He's basically a huge fraud. And he's like one of those Miss Cleo types of the 90s.
Exactly, yeah. I'm surprised he didn't have an 800 number.
Yeah, no shit.
The living impaired are known for haunting us. My question is, what's haunting them? It's a lack of resolution. Ghosts are simply spirits without resolution, with unfinished business, and it's my job to find out what that is.
And so Dr. James Harvey continues his work, dragging his daughter along for the ride. This week they're in Santa Fe, but next week, who knows? Now, from the
you gotta make a living, I guess. He's a single dad. He found a job that pays, I suppose. Whatever.
Listen, call my 800 number, and I will, talk to the ghost in your house. You pick up the phone, leave it hanging, and I'll have a private conversation with him. You can leave the room. It's going to be about $5 per minute.
The thing, too, is that Casper is watching TV, and he sees Dr. Harvey on Hard Copy, and then he sees Kat, and he gets a little fucking ghost heart on. He's like, oh shit. Dude. I gotta get them in my house. It's very lonely here.
Casper is trying to fuck.
He's trying to do something, man.
Oh my god. He gets such a hard-on for her that he ghost beams over to Kerrigan's hotel room or whatever the fuck. Is that a thing? Can ghost beam through electricity?
I don't understand the rules in this movie at all, so I'm not even gonna question it, but he definitely does go through the electrical wires and turns on her TV and shit.
It's good enough logic that the House on Haunted Hill remake also did it.
I would love to do a podcast on that movie, Josh. I grew up on that movie.
Dude, so you remember when the house changes the guest lists?
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I just like Chris Kattan ghost at the end. That's my favorite part of the whole movie.
Chris Kattan is me through the whole movie.
Imagine if you were in a haunted place and you saw a ghost, but it was Chris Kattan.
No. Hold it up. No vanilla. Just hold it there. Vanilla.
The ghost of Chris Kattan's career.
Oh, okay. That's gonna have to be on our Halloween episodes coming up.
All right, done, settled.
So Doc Harvey and his daughter, a young Christina Ricci, they move in to Whipstaff. They're hired by Kerrigan and Dibbs. She says, all right, there's ghosts in here. You're a ghost psychiatrist, whatever the fuck that means. I need you to get them out.
Yeah. And they tell him, do it in a couple days. If you could, that would be awesome.
We had the Ghostbusters here. They couldn't get him out, but I'm sure fucking the president of the United States can handle it, right?
Well, Corey, he will not go quietly into the night, and he will not give up without a fight.
That's a good point.
So you hire the best.
I just gotta say, I do like Bill Pullman. He's cool.
Yes, I fucking love Bill Pullman as an actor. Now, as a kid, this movie always gave me kind of like Beetlejuice vibes. In this movie, he looks strikingly similar to Alec Baldwin in Beetlejuice.
That's a good point. I had a couple moments when I was thinking about Beetlejuice on my rewatch, and I was like, wouldn't it be funny if like the Maitlands were there or whatever?
Kerrigan, hires Beetlejuice or whatever to get rid of the Casper.
Oh my
and the
god,
other ghost.
different movie. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's the shit. Fucking Beetlejuice versus Casper. Sign me up, dude.
I'm into it. So when the family of Dr. Harvey and Kat move into the house, they're kind of like settling in. They just see it as like a creepy house, but it's fine.
This looks like a dope house to me. I'd love to live there.
It is a very cool house. It's a cool set. The production design in this movie is really good, I think. It's like one of the strongest things about this movie.
Yeah, it's one of the most memorable things.
It's a pretty well-made movie. The CG is good, very good, I'd say. Actually, I don't know if it's CG technically, but it looks great.
They did it smart by kind of making it look cartoony.
Exactly.
So it doesn't bother you that it is kind of, an obvious special effect,
Right. And the transparency comes off really well. I think as intended, like where it's transparent, but you can also see the figure well enough to understand what it is. I think it works really well. One of the things though, I mean, if we're talking like production, the pacing of this movie is like insane. This movie moves at like a breakneck pace, and it's like almost impossible to tell how much time has passed at any given point.
I was literally gonna bring that up. Casper waits no time and immediately tries to bang Kat, right? She's in her room for like 2 seconds, and he's like, all right, working on his like pickup lines and everything, debating whether or not he should just whip it out.
He's like, hey, Kat, do you like snakes? How about a trouser snake? No.
What the fuck are you waiting for? She went for the setup. Reach in your pants and pull your cock out, bitch.
Oh, man. And he doesn't have to worry about pulling out.
Oh, Josh, that is wrong.
Thank you, everybody.
So wrong. All right. So, yeah, he does make contact with Kat, and naturally she screams, passes out, and immediately calls for her dad, who doesn't believe her that there's ghosts in the house because he's a huge fraud.
Yes, that was the funniest thing ever. He's immediately like, come on, like, ghosts aren't real, come on. What do you think I've been doing all along?
He's just hustling old people like those Conjuring couple. Like, what are they called?
The Warrens?
Yeah. I wonder if I'm going to get some hate for saying that, but yeah, come on, people.
Yeah, no, those were con artists.
So let the movies fool you, people. Yeah, he's just like this movie universe's version of them. He freaks out when he sees Casper, but I have to hone in on that for a second, because the scream he delivers when he sees Casper is so stupid.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Yeah, well, do you think they gave him the direction of go for comedy or go for, like a genuine scream?
Here's the direction I think they gave him. You just had a stroke, but you're trying to scream.
That's right. It's like side of his face kind of cocks weird, like his mouth weird, pushes to the side. I don't know. It's weird, right? Now that you bring it up, there's something wrong about his scream.
It always got my attention. Like in a movie like this, when you're like 10, nothing should like catch your attention like that. Anyway, so the uncles, Casper has 3 uncles. Why don't you tell us about them?
Yeah, this is our introduction to the uncles. There's Stinky, Fatso, and the Blue Ranger? What's the other one? Stretch Armstrong?
Yeah, Stretch Armstrong.
I had no idea what the fuck, like, these were characters, like, as a kid, but, you know, they're also in the old cartoon, right?
I have no idea. I only had, like, the vaguest familiarity with Casper as a property when this movie came out, as I think a lot of my kids in our generation did. It was, like, our parents' or grandparents' like era of cartoon or comic, whatever it was. I think it was both, actually.
Now, why is it, now, skipping ahead, when Kerrigan becomes a ghost, it looks like Harrigan. What, did these guys look like that in real life? What the fuck? They look like mutants.
Yeah, they're like freak show people, yeah.
And what kind of living arrangements was going on here? Is Casper living with his 3 uncles? What the fuck?
Yeah, I have no idea why, because he had like a dad. I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah, they never established any sort of relationship between the uncles and the dad. Who, like, which came first, the chicken or the egg? You know, Casper clearly died some point. Did they, like, where did they come in the picture? They never really established any sort of timeline.
They don't, and I guess to some degree it doesn't matter, but it's just like one of the many instances of things that don't make sense in this movie. But yeah. What's your favorite uncle?
I gotta go Stretch. There's something about, he's a little like stereotypical New York kind of, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't find anyone super particularly like you know, funnier than the rest. I always think of them as like an entendre, you know.
I can get behind that. Fatso's obviously like the fat guy. He talks about food a lot, so like that's his whole gimmick.
Do you have a personal favorite?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was cool to like Stinky when I was a kid, because like as a young boy that's like 10 years old, you like, you know, burping in the face jokes and stuff like that. Like, that's when you start to get into that kind of humor. So I was into him, and I think my cousins were too. We watched this movie together a lot. Stretch, I guess, is like the leader. He's like the main one. But I mean, personality wise, they're all just kind of like rude, in your face, obnoxious kind of guys.
Hey guys, have fun.
Oh, look, it's Casper. You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being fun and 1 being you. Yeah, we had fun.
Say, Bullbed, why ain't you inside doing your chores?
Yeah, where's dinner? I'm starving. Look at me, I'm wasting away.
I know. How about you guys relax out here and tonight we'll eat al fresco?
Hey, sounds great. Who's that?
Say, Short Sheet, you wouldn't be trying to keep us out of the house, would ya?
No.
They're all the Moes. They're all just Moes instead of, you know, the Blue Ranger and the other stooge.
Yeah, Mo, the Blue Ranger, and
Grimlock.
But Dr. Harvey has like a face-off with them, like they're like scaring the shit out of him and like getting in his face, but at one point they possess him.
And yeah, there's a cute little gag where it's like a poltergeist kind of moment, right? Where he's like in front of the mirror, but instead of, you know, ripping his own face off, he starts to morph into other celebrities.
Yeah, he starts to morph into the movie's cameos. There's a lot of cameos in this movie, but
this movie is slap full of cameos.
Absolutely.
I can't go 5 minutes without a cameo.
Especially like the first act. But Clint Eastwood is one of them. I guess that represents Stretch.
I didn't even think about it in terms of that. Oh man, so okay, yeah, I could see that.
Rodney Dangerfield, Fatso. They have like the similar sounding voice, and I think Mel Gibson is Stinky? Because I think it's supposed to be like irony, like the stinky gross guy is actually the handsome Mel Gibson.
I never would have like put all this shit together, but when you put it like that, that's like so fucking cute, clever, that makes sense. I hope that's like a real thing.
These are the kind of discussions me and my friends had about this movie. Like,
well, right after he gets spooked out by the mirror, he turns around and Fatso's already behind him. So clearly Fatso slipped out of his butthole, right? Slipped out like a fart.
Yeah.
You didn't feel that, like, that draft coming out of your butthole, man?
I guess not.
But yeah, they just start fucking with him, right? And then he, like, challenges him to a duel.
Yeah, they have, like, an Addams Family style, like, sword fight. And he uses a plunger.
They, like, sword fight up the stairs. It's kind of cutely choreographed. I mean, it's not meant to be taken serious. It's cute, right?
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
It culminates in him finding a vacuum cleaner. And does he at least temporarily incapacitate them? Or are they just fucking with him?
I think he does, but again, it doesn't make sense. So they could just go through the vacuum bag. Like, they seem to have, like, semi-infinite power. Like, why just go through the bag, you know?
Are you telling me that a fucking Ghostbuster couldn't take these ghosts on, but a vacuum cleaner? That was the solution.
Yeah, what the fuck? They can resist a proton pack?
Yeah. Yeah, are you telling me whatever they insinuate happened? I'm not buying it.
I do want to touch on one thing during the sword fight when Dr. Harvey has, like, the plunger. He, like, plunges the front of Stretch's face and, like, stretches him. So, I don't know if you remember the trailers for this movie, but it, like, introduced the uncles and it said, like, Stinky, and he did, like, his stinky breath. And then it said, like, Fatso, and it showed him, like, eating. And it said Stretch, and it always showed that scene where he was being stretched with the plunger.
Yeah.
But, like, they made it seem like they all had, like, these unique quirks, like Stretch could stretch. But now I'm pretty sure he's just called Stretch because he's, like, thin, and that's, like, an old-timey, like, nickname for someone who's thin. Like, hey, Stretch.
Yeah, I'm Stretch, yeah.
Hey, how you doing there, Stretch? I'll take a pack of cigarettes.
You Casper.
But yeah, he doesn't like stretch. Anyway, I don't know. Just an observation.
He doesn't do like Dalsum punches, you know?
Yeah, he's not like in there like Stretch Armstrong, yeah.
Right, yeah. He's not Mr. Fantasticing his way around.
Exactly. So the next day, there's still like a little bit of tension between Dr. Harvey, Kat, and the ghosts, obviously, although Casper like kind of makes contact with Kat and is like, look, I'm cool. They're fucking crazy, but I'm cool, so like, don't be scared of me.
We'll make you breakfast.
Yeah, he makes her breakfast. Why don't you tell us about that?
They have a conversation, Kat and Casper, and they kind of start talking about the rules of the movie, and this is where the movie just straight up blatantly lies in your face. She asks, can I hurt you? He says no. And then she asks, well, can you hurt me? And he says no. And then the movie proceeds to disprove that throughout because ghosts are definitely capable of killing you.
The whole third act is disproving that one line.
Exactly. It's just straight. I mean, we're going to brush over the fact that, like, all right, let's say, you know, Bill Pullman lost that sword fight. What, you know, got stabbed. That would have killed him, you know? But then Kerrigan punch, like, fucking uppercuts, you know? Eric Idle into the spike pit.
Yeah. He gets shot to space. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, the ghosts are definitely going to kill you. So they have breakfast, you know, trying to ease the tension, and then the Fatso, Stretch, and Stinky just show up and fuck with Bill Pullman some more. What is the point of them eating food? Is it just to be a dick?
It's weird. Like, I think they have to, otherwise it would undermine the point of having one of them be Fatso. like, you know, like, why is he Fatso always talking about food? Unless these people are actually eating.
Yeah, that's so boggling. Like, I don't get it. So, I don't know. I'm very confused by this scene. I always thought that they just did it just to be a dick, but you know, they do kind of, like, imply that they need to eat, right?
Yeah, I don't know if they need to so much as they just like to. They like to do human-esque things, which actually I'm going to save some of that for a little bit later. So more on that to come. But to close out the breakfast scene, after like Kat leaves and goes to school, probably my favorite moment of that whole bit is that Dr. Harvey like turns around and he's like, all right, time to stop being a fraud. And he's like, all right, guys, why don't you enjoy your breakfast and we'll start talking about what it takes to get you guys crossed over to the other side. And like they just literally throw shit at him, like literal shit.
Like a bucket of shit.
Yeah. Which is amazing. I like that they didn't like, because you know when they eat and the food comes out of them, it's not like poop, it's just like crushed up food. Like they're eating like donuts or something. And then like as it goes through their body, it's just like little crushed up bits of donuts on the floor, which Casper tries to clean up. That's not what they throw at him. They found shit somewhere. Like they went into like the sewage or something. Like they retrieved poop and they threw it at him.
They went out of their way. They took the extra steps to locate some poop.
The 10-year-old in me appreciates seeing poop.
Because poop is funny.
I guess poop is pretty funny.
Poop is...
Oh, pooping on the floor?
It is funny.
That was a good... You know what? Well played, my man.
Yeah. It's a funny gag, yeah.
We got to talk about Kat going to school. And again, this just goes to show like the point that I talked about how...
This is a very cliched scene, right?
It is, but also like how fast-paced this movie is, like, and like how much like time spans so quickly. So she's at school, she meets Vic and Amber, who are a couple like semi-prominent players. They have like a little subplot in the movie. So like Vic is like the cute guy.
Oh yeah, he's the Rocky
Yeah, he's the Rocky. Amber is like the blonde-haired popular girl that's just like mean for no reason.
Yeah.
And just like fucking hates Kat.
For no reason, right?
Maybe it's because she's like jealous of her. She's like pretty or something. I don't know. I don't claim to understand the mind of a teenage girl, but you know.
Yeah. I don't either, but yeah, maybe she's just jealous it's Christina Ricci. And she's like the main character, and that's what the script calls for.
Yeah, it's very literal, yeah. I like how Vic has like the Fonzie move to open Kat's locker. Like she can't open the locker and he comes up and he like pounds it in the right spot and it just like pops open.
Oh yeah. Very, very classy move.
What a cool guy, right?
Dude, this guy's so fucking cool. He's too cool for school.
And in class, Kat gets introduced by the teacher. He says, "We have a new student, Harvey Kathleen." And then like everyone laughs because like the first name is Harvey, like a man's name. Here's the thing, dude. You're a grown adult. You see the new kid in school is clearly a female. And you introduce her as Harvey. Like, you know her first name's Kathleen. Like, just say Kathleen Harvey. Like, what is this? He's just setting her up for failure.
Well, unless he always, like, introduces everybody, you know, last name, first name. In which case, these kids should be used to... It shouldn't surprise them, right?
Yeah. But they're having, like, a Halloween dance planned for the entire school, I guess.
They're like, yeah, it turns out we're going to have it in January. And in order to save it, Gretchen Wieners volunteers to have it at her house.
Yeah, but like on not only at her house, on like her fancy boathouse, and the whole school or the whole class is just like, like why not? Like, what's the fucking problem?
Well, you got to deal with her, I'm assuming. She's just a bundle of charisma.
One of the kids like volunteers to have it at Kat's house. Like, she has no say in the matter. He's just like, "Yo, Teach, check it out, dog. It's like this, yo." We're dead for the Halloween dance, right, my guy? We could have it at her house. She's the new kid. She basically has no say.
Know what I'm saying?
He's like going hard on the slang, on like the urban slang. But yeah, I don't know. It always struck me as odd that they just like volunteer her house. And like she literally never gets a response to this.
What if she said yeah, and then like the next day she's like, you know what? My dad said nope.
Plus, like, all the local kids know, like, never go in that fucking house.
Right.
And then they're just, like, super cool with having a Halloween dance there.
So the school wouldn't need to, you know, I don't know, check the premises out, you know? Make sure it's safe for the kids. I don't know.
Make sure there's no fucking ghosts.
Yeah, like, the whole school is just cool with it. Like,
because they ask where she's living, and she says, like, I'm at Whip Staff, and everyone, like, gasps. And I think the next question would be, like, why are you living there? And then she'd be like, well, my dad's a ghost psychiatrist, and the place is haunted. And then they'd be like, okay, we'll have the dance at the boathouse.
I imagine she says, my dad's a ghost psychiatrist, and they just laugh.
Well, he's
thing.
the famous Dr. Harvey. He had an episode of Hard Copy.
I'm sure a lot of psychics, quote unquote, was on that show too. Like I don't know what the premise of that show was, but clearly they're, you know, promoting fraud. So
yeah, they're gonna have the dance at her place. Later on, like Vic, handsome guy or whatever, shows up at her house.
Vic Valentine or whatever the fuck.
And he says like, oh, do you want to like be my date for the dance, basically? And she says yeah, because he's like 90s handsome guy, but Casper's all jealous. I want to talk about this now, actually. I know it's jumping ahead a little bit, but this whole thing is like a prank on Kat, right? Like, he doesn't really want to go with her.
They're going to punk her. After they get her real good, Ashton Kutcher's going to come out and say, you got fucking punked, yo.
I mean, basically, they have this elaborate prank, so I'm going to jump a little bit ahead here. At the night of the dance, they like sneak in a different room, Amber and Vic, and they're going to like scare Kat, I guess. She stands on like Vic's shoulders and like has Halloween makeup on. And she's like looking at herself in the mirror during that point. She's like, oh my God, we look so fucking scary. Dude, you're just someone on someone else's shoulders with Halloween makeup on Halloween. Like, it's not that scary. Like, what do you think?
It's that one girl from class.
She's on Vic's shoulders.
Yeah. Like, do you really think you're going to convince anyone? Yeah. No, they're just going to think you've got some kind of elaborate costume.
Yeah. Which you do, and it's not great.
Which you do, and it's not great, you know? It's what a terrible prank. I mean, somebody should have told her, what you got to do is go out, slaughter a pig, put all the pig's blood into a bucket. Now, you got to wait for the right moment and dump it all on Kat.
Yeah. You got to really be babysitting the string that holds the bucket, though, for like 10 minutes, like in anticipation.
Right, yeah. You've got to wait for that right moment. It's gonna work. It's gonna land. Everybody's gonna find it very funny.
A little bit later on, Kat and Casper, well, I guess mostly Kat, they find like Casper's old room or like the attic or something, and it's just like train sets and like old-timey toys.
They set up that Casper doesn't remember anything about his life. So I guess as a way to help him, she set up this whole toy set thing to, you know, help him out. But like that implies
right.
he didn't know, like it was a surprise. What was he doing? Was he jacking off in the next room?
Yeah, because I forgot. They went to the lighthouse. Like, after Casper finds out that she has a date for the thing, he, like, forcibly carries her to the nearby lighthouse. Like, she's, like, screaming for him to stop and, like, begging him.
He says, you don't want to take me on a date. I'm going to drop you off out this fucking window, bitch.
When you're dead, you'll be mine forever.
And that near-death experience gives her Stockholm Syndrome.
It does. But yeah, he, like, carries her to, like, the fucking lighthouse where, like, Willem Dafoe and, like, Robert Pattinson are, like, jacking off furiously. Like, look at you, handsome lad, with eyes as bright as a lady.
When they're, like, having their cute moments and there's just, you know, the silence. You'd hear just the faint sounds of them going at it.
Yeah, like Robert Pattinson is like brutally murdering a seagull and like You see Casper flying overhead carrying like Cat.
He's like, just ignore that. So that's a thing. I don't want to get involved.
She really did not want to go there.
Come with me if you want to live.
Casper! Casper, no! No! Casper, no! Casper, no! 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 Casper, no! Oh my God! Hi, this is very high! Casper! Casper!
But yeah, they find Casper's room, and he remembers his life, at least some portions of it, like around the time he died. Anything noteworthy to you about that?
Well, I know at one point he says the creepiest thing ever.
Cat. Can I keep you?
Oh, yeah. I almost forgot about that moment.
Not what you want to hear coming from a ghost, you know? That proceeds to drop you out the window because you said no. It sounds like you're fucked, bitch.
Can I keep you?
No. Then I'm gonna drop you out the window some more.
Can I fucking keep you now?
Do it over and over. I don't know if I can keep this up forever, Cat.
You tell Dr. Harvey about this and you're fucking dead, bitch. Things took a dark turn. The movie isn't that dark. That's just our wild imaginations.
Casper the friendly ghost, everybody.
Yeah, he's friendly. He will forcibly carry you to a lighthouse by your ankle while you're hanging upside down, screaming no at the top of your lungs.
He will be your friend whether you like it or not.
Exactly. So Casper's life, he was a young boy that had a sled that died of probably pneumonia, right?
I'm assuming, but I liked... I did a review on my channel for this movie called Jack Frost, and at one point, some kid got decapitated by a sled, so I like to imagine that's how Casper really went out.
That's the true backstory, yeah.
It's the true backstory. He got beheaded by a sled.
Well, I mean, Casper's story is like, it's just whatever. It's just filler so we know a little bit about him being a real person and we can make that relation like later on. But I gotta say, I really love the song that's playing when he's telling the story. It's called Casper's Lullaby. It's part of the score. I think this is James Horner that did the music. And I really like the music. And that piece of music, it's one of my favorite pieces of music in any movie, to be honest. I love it a lot. I'm going to have it play right now, so copyright claim incoming.
Man, what a beautiful score. Yeah. Sounds delicious. The movie also tells us that Casper's dad was also a mad scientist of some sort.
Oh god, yeah. So this comes into play late, doesn't it?
Yeah, this late we're just supposed to buy it and roll. Just roll with it. You know what? Casper's dad was a mad scientist. We ain't got time to get into it. But he did discover some kind of potion that will turn a ghost into a human, but just kept it all
Never
these
got
years?
around to using it, that guy. He's kind of an alcoholic. Yeah. So I just gotta say, when Casper remembers and he shows Cat like his dad's crazy inventions, it's just, I don't know, it's just a Rube Goldberg machine, isn't it? Like, almost, like, out of nowhere. Just like, okay, check this out. Sit in this chair. Oh, yeah, you know these tracks that were up here on the stairs? Yeah, you never noticed that before. No big deal. Like, there's a set of tracks that the chair follows, clearly.
And then you have to fight some guy like Temple of Doom.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yeah, Christina Ricci's like fighting like the shirtless Indian guy from Temple of Doom on the way down to the basement.
Well, when she starts going down the floorboards, for a few seconds, it's like a nightmare. Fucking, like, there's like strobe lights and like laughter playing. Like,
I don't care how pristine or how well timed that thing was. I would never set up a bunch of razors. Just, because one day, what if one of the cogs just, just rust a little bit,
Well, it's just two razors that move up and down. That's just gonna fucking cut up your face no matter how... Like, there's no way it's gonna contour to the exact shape of your face. It's just gonna slice your shit up.
I know, right? And the chair doesn't stop and let the razors go. You're still moving while the razors are running. How do you... Yeah.
It's like, if you survive this, then you're ready to start the day.
I mean, honestly, I feel like Casper's dad probably spent more time setting this up than he did the bring my ghost kid back to life machine.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he never got around to doing it. He was too busy tweaking with the fucking chair. Casper's like, hey dad, you gonna work on the potion some more? No, I'm gonna set up this razor thing. Look how fucking sweet this thing is though, right?
But why does it, like, have to have, like, the crazy, like, strobe lights with laughter playing before that? Like, what is the necessity of it? Like, it doesn't need to be there.
It's for this scene. In case somebody that isn't me gets in this chair, I'm gonna fucking spook them real good.
Yeah, it's just to fuck with people. Like,
they're gonna hear this right before my razor slice their face off. Because it's time to my facial structure and not anybody else's.
It does not seem that exact. It's just like...
Yeah, at one point, like, Eric Idle is able to just, like, pull his arms up and, like, karate chop these... That would slice your hands up, bro.
Yeah, you can't fight, like, mechanical razors. Like, what are you doing, man?
What are you doing?
Like, he's gonna, like,
what are you...
show down with them? Like...
Yeah, you gonna parry it?
But, yeah, Casper explains the Lazarus machine, like you mentioned. It's the machine that brings ghosts back, but, like, the really crucial component is the Kool-Aid, the red Kool-Aid that you pour in it. Like, that's the most important part.
The magic potion? No, I promise it's science.
No. It's just Kool-Aid.
It's like, how did you scientifically... Through a potion, I can make a ghost into a real person. Give them back their flesh and bones and... Presumably, like... soul? I don't know, like, what the fuck? Just, it's more or less magic. I don't care what the movie tells you. The movie's already established that it's going to lie to your face.
Yeah, it has. Because the villains do show up and they steal the potion when, like, Kat tries to use it on Casper to bring him back to life. So the villains are Kerrigan and Dibs. They take it and then they immediately, like, turn on each other. Because their whole thing is they want the treasure, like we talked about at the beginning, and they think it's in this, like, vault.
They think it's in the underground dungeon lab.
The dungeon lab, yeah, but it has a vault in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, as they're, like, overhearing, or as they're sneaking in, they hear Casper say, me and my dad used to play pirates. And then he quotes what the map says. And if you have half a brain cell, guess where this is going? That's a fake treasure map.
Well, it must mean that there's really treasure somewhere in there, right? Because they used to play pirates, obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously. They didn't make believe.
He's a man of science. He doesn't make believe, okay?
For all they know, if he could do this with that potion, maybe he made a potion that just makes gold. Right? It's magic. Fuck it. Who cares?
Well, as a small note of irony, they have, like, the button to the Lazarus machine in the Frankenstein, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein book, which is a story about, like, not using science to bring people back to life. So that's I don't know, it's kind of a funny bit
Rather
of irony.
than, like, thinking these questions through, Kerrigan decides, you know what, let me just go ahead and fucking kill Eric Idle and we'll figure it out later.
So this is where the editing gets really bad. I mean, for the most part, it's fine. but it's really bad when she's trying to kill Eric Idle.
Yeah, she starts chasing him through the hall, and I'm assuming you're talking about it cuts back to him, and he's already in a full plate of armor.
Yes.
And he's like set up a Three Ninjas trap.
Yeah. Like a Home Alone fucking, like, he has like the pudding on the floor or whatever. She falls out the fucking window. Is fine. Hard cut, he's downstairs in no armor.
Oh, yeah. That took 30 seconds? I feel like, did the movie imply that it took literally 30 seconds? Or are they insinuating there were a few minutes in between? Or do they just not care?
They don't show the passing of time in this movie. Like I said, it's very weird. Like, things just like, one thing leads to the next thing, and like,
just
that's it.
Deal with it, Dick. It's not our problem.
But Kerrigan, she gets in the car, she tries to like run over Dibs. She ends up almost driving off a cliff, but then gets out of her car and falls out, and like, she falls down like a Ninja Turtles 3 cliff, like into water, right?
Yeah. I wish they would have used a similar shot. You know, the guy just suddenly isn't there anymore.
Yeah, like the falling down green screen where like they shrink the image like to make it look like they're falling.
Yeah. So, as, you know, Eric Idle quips off the side of the ledge, final boss Kerrigan shows up and is like, I don't know, why is she like a super ghost? She's a ghost for like 30 seconds, and she's like, knows how to do all of her ghost powers.
I think she died, and then she went to like King Kai's like planet and like trained with him for a while, and then like came back like stronger. Like she could do like a spirit bomb now.
Yeah. Like half circle A, and then we're done. Super move. I don't know what to say about this. I find it a little weird that she's a ghost for a second and is just the shit. You know? It's like when the bad guy in the mask puts on the mask for the first time, and he's somehow like just this ultimate fucking badass.
He's like the Uber mask, yeah.
Yeah, he becomes like the super shredder mask or whatever.
It's actually like the same like visual gag or like style too, because she has hair as a ghost, and just like the Dorian in the mask has hair when he puts on the mask. Like he's the mask with hair.
It's the same. Oh my god! And Casper's bald, and Jim Carrey's mask is bald. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Illuminati confirmed.
Good guys are bald. Bad guys are hair.
I feel like an image of Bruce Willis needs to go up.
We can talk about Kerrigan here. Like like you said, she's like the Uber ghost. She steals the treasure, and she has like the potion. Well, I guess like she's like, Dibs has the potion, and she's like, I don't know, her and Dibs had this whole plan where like one of them's gonna die, the other one's gonna bring the person back, but like they don't trust each other enough to go through with this at all.
Eric Idle's like, you know what? I was told earlier, ghosts can't hurt me. And then she just uppercuts him out of the window.
She fucking Shirukens him into space.
Yeah!
He's dead. He's gone. But
yeah,
the rules are so stupid. So here we go. How come some people die and become ghosts in this movie? Why the fuck does it happen?
Unfinished business? This is all they say.
They'd be everywhere. They'd be everywhere. Everyone would know about ghosts. No one would give a shit. They're so selective about who becomes ghosts when you die. Death is basically meaningless in this movie because you can just like still hang out as a ghost and interact with the physical world. So what's the fucking difference?
Right, yeah, it's a hand wave of an explanation.
It is.
It's the Force, I guess? I don't know. Like, yeah. And not only that, like, she looks just like the actress. So
she has lipstick, for crying out loud.
Yeah, why does like that logic apply to her ghost and not literally the only other ghost in this movie? She stands out for some reason. Something special about her? I guess it's to not confuse the audience, but then it just looks stupid.
Yeah, it would be funny actually if she just like was like a Casper kind of ghost.
Yeah, if she had like I don't know, like this swoop head, you know, like I don't.
What's funny to me though, like, is since she gets the treasure, she has the potion, she clearly has the upper hand. Like Casper and Kat, to like defeat her, they have to like remind God that like she's not supposed to be there.
Or did they have to remind God, or did they have to convince her? Make her convince herself. No, that's everything you need right there.
Well, it seems like a higher force like actually has control over who stays and goes in terms of ghosts. As soon as like they tell God like she doesn't have any unfinished business, like she like disappears into hell or heaven. I don't know.
They get in touch with like customer service. We got a ghost here. They definitively have everything they wanted. We settled their unfinished business.
They admitted it. You heard them, God.
They like after she says that, like, so I don't know, like somebody like rips open their shirt. They're like wearing a wire.
Yeah, like Casper has like a wire. He's like, you got that on
Ghost
tape.
wire, bitch. It's directly beaming to God. God's on the other end of it, like with like a headset.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah. And then like after she clearly starts to like, you know, teleport out or beam out or whatever the fuck, she's like trying to convince everybody else she wants more. Like if that's gonna work, you know? She's like, oh no, I could have used a horse, a pony, you know, nice car.
All ghosts have unfinished business. That's why they don't cross over.
Unfinished business? I have no unfinished business. I have my treasure, my mansion. I have everything. Unjust perfect. Wait! I lied! I have unfinished business, lots of unfinished business. I'm not ready to cross over yet! Wait! You tricked me, you rotten little rat!
I at least need to open this fucking treasure chest. That's a piece of unfinished business, is it not?
Yeah.
Having the box is not what your goal. It's what's inside of it.
Well, that's what leads me to believe like they had to convince her, make her convince herself. Like, don't even look in the box. It's in your hand. You got it. Right?
What's in the box is potentially valuable, right?
What's in the fucking box?
It's like an old Brooklyn Dodgers player like signed baseball. I don't know. That might be valuable, I think, right?
Is that Gwyneth Paltrow's head? No, don't worry about that.
No.
Oh, no. This is the subplot where... I almost called him Alec Baldwin. He looks just like Alec Baldwin. Bill Pullman's, like, gone out drinking with the boys, you know? Just boys' night out.
Dr. Harvey is getting drunk with some ghosts, as you do.
As you do. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. If I had a chance to get drunk with some ghosts, I'd do it. Sounds like a good time.
They literally go to a bar and drink, which is cool. But, like, the only person in the bar is, like, a passed out patron, I assume. I don't know if they killed the bartender or what, but, like, he's not around.
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even notice that guy until, like, my second watch, you know? Like, I was like, oh my god, how long has that guy been there? And it was, like, partway through the scene in my second watch. I was like, I've never noticed this guy. He was passed out? When did he pass out? Did he see the ghost? Is he just cool with it? Did he see
He
him
saw
every
them
Thursday?
and then passed out. I'd like to think, yeah.
Ew.
I mean, they're just partying, and the uncles decide, like, this guy's pretty fucking cool and, like, funny when he's wasted. Let's, like, murder him and just make him a ghost.
Yeah, because ghosts can't hurt you.
Yeah.
Remember that. Ghosts
sure.
can't hurt you.
I mean, they're literally, one of them has a gun. At some point, they're gonna shoot him.
Ghosts can't hurt you.
But yeah, so I mean, they want to murder him out of friendship, though.
Yeah, it's a good kind of murder. They're doing it from a place of good.
Yeah.
That makes it okay?
Yeah, they just want him to be a ghost, and since he's like in like the drunk I love you man phase, like they feel bad about it because he's like, you know what, you guys are all right, and he's doing the whole drunken fucking bro speech.
Possession's 9/10 of the law. I'll take this up with legal court. Tell them you guys rightfully own this place.
Yeah, he's gonna like go to court on behalf of some ghosts. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and just dies anyway.
Yeah, so right in front of the bar, apparently, there's like 2 feet outside of the bar, there's an open trench that I guess is deep enough to where if you fall, you fucking die.
And the city was just cool with it.
That seems like the worst possible place to have an open trench in front of a bar where drunk people are going to be stumbling out, but okay.
I feel like the city was like, nah, keep it. It's going to be very funny.
Oh my god, I know what it is. It's the Ghostbusters digging to get into this, to find the slime. That's what it is.
They're down there like trying to get away from the pink slime.
Yeah. They're doing like the unsanctioned like dig like in the city that they're not allowed to do.
Hey, what, you boneheads are gonna come and roust me out again? I got 3,000 phones out in Greenwich Hills. I got about 8 million miles of cable I gotta check. You gonna come and shake my monkey tree again? What are you talking about, buddy? The phone lines are over there. What did I say to you? The phone lines are over there.
Oh, that's
they
it.
gotta get back and tell Venkman, interrupt Venkman's date and tell them what they saw.
Exactly. But yeah, Dr. Harvey just fucking dies in a pit.
And he becomes a ghost dad. A good kind of ghost dad and not the Bill Cosby kind of ghost dad.
This is the good Bill. Bill Pullman he's okay. Yeah, he becomes ghost dad. He is a ghost with a green sweater and glasses and a little beard.
Again, like, yeah, let's make the ghost look like the actor. We said like for the most part, the ghosts look okay because they play this like cartoony look, but it doesn't look as, believable for like the other, like the dad and Kerrigan, where they try to make them look like the actors. They stick out a little bit more like sore thumbs, and just in terms of design.
Exactly. And I was just thinking about this, actually. There's a lot of people that die in this movie.
Yeah.
The dad dies. Kerrigan dies. Eric Idle potentially dies. And the priest probably dies.
And then, like, not only that, they're, like, swearing a bunch, too. Eric Idle just straight calls Kerrigan a bitch.
He's like, you're such a fucking bitch all the time. No.
He said, eat a fucking cock, you whore.
He doesn't say it like that.
Casper, the friendly ghost.
But yeah, he says he's gonna get a dog, and it's gonna be a bitch just like you. I'm like, what? What a weird thing to say to someone.
Oh, you can haunt me all you want, but it's gonna be in a great, big, expensive house with lovely purple wallpaper and great big green carpets and a little dog called Kerrigan, a bitch just like you.
I didn't look it up. Is this movie PG?
Oh, it is PG. I just looked it up.
Oh my god! They should have tried to push in an F-bomb. Might as well.
What would be the good moment for that?
Can I fucking keep you?
Can I fuck you?
Then he drops her out the window.
You can fit in one F-bomb in a PG-13 movie, but not in a PG movie, so it can't happen.
That's what I'm saying. They should have went for the PG-13. Just drop in that F-bomb. Can I fuck you? She says no. Then he drops her out the window.
Oh, God. No, I have to cut that out.
I'm so sorry.
Where were we?
Ghost Dad. They gotta bring him back to life.
That's right. So he shows up and he's like, I guess if you die drunk, you're a drunk ghost, right?
I'm free! I've never felt so good in my life! I can fly!
Yeah. What? How does that work? Did he because he didn't even remember his daughter, and it was implied that Casper just forgot over time. He just I don't give a shit. You know, like, you instantly forget. They don't establish any of these rules, and if they did, they would just probably lie and contradict it anyway.
Yeah. But Cat, like, does the pinky promise thing to, like, make him remember.
He's like, is this a breathalyzer?
Fucking drunk ghost. But yeah, so they use the potion to bring him back to life instead of Casper, obviously. It kind of brings up the question of like what this machine actually does, because presumably his dead body is in like a ditch in front of a bar. But now there's another. So like someone's gonna find that body and be like, identify it as like, oh my god, this is Dr. Harvey, the famous ghost fraud guy. But then there's gonna be another one that's actually alive with the same clothes.
I didn't think about it like that, but oh my god, it's like the Prestige.
Yeah, it's a cloning machine, yeah.
It's a cloning machine, dude. Oh my god. He's gonna have like 100 clones. Kill them all to keep a secret.
It's the fucking Prestige.
He's just gonna blame Christian Bale.
I mean, if you think about it, that seems to be the case for like a lot of movies that have this kind of technology. Like even The Fly, right? Like that just kills you and creates a copy of you, right?
Yeah, right? Yeah, no. I've seen, well, you're the Trek person. I've seen that same argument made about the, you know, beam me up, Scotty, or whatever, that you're broken down to your molecules, killed, and then like put back together piece by piece or something. I don't know.
Yeah, so there is some explanation to support that those don't actually kill you, transporters. I've seen like a lot of forums on this, and people have made some really solid like sci-fi arguments. Obviously it's not real, so you can't make a super scientific argument. But from the point of sci-fi, there is an explanation. I don't remember it, but there is one, suffice to say.
Well, it's a good thing this movie doesn't run on science and it runs on magic.
Yeah, I guess it does.
It's like just magic potions, but trust me, they're science.
So the dad is brought back, he's cloned, and his soul is put in the clone body, which has the same clothes. That's pretty cool.
It cloned his clothes too.
Yeah, it did. But meanwhile, there's a whole like Halloween party going on upstairs. I think we forgot to say this, but the whole fucking school arrives at the same time to her house.
Oh yeah, and by the time they get downstairs, they've already set up all these like Halloween decorations.
And a like, DJ.
And a DJ? They set up all this like in 5 minutes? Seems pretty elaborate, you know?
I just thought it was weird that they all get there at the same time. And I think it's funny in movies too, like how people have like the non like specific characters for Halloween costumes. All like there's no fucking Power Rangers, you know? Like there would be in 1995.
Somebody's dressed up as a carrot. Somebody's dressed up as like some weird, yeah.
There's a carrot. There's one of them is a nun smoking a cigar.
That was a child?
Yeah, a nun smoking a cigar kid. That was their costume.
Oh man, that's cool. That's so awesome. What's great is like right around this time is when the bullies or whatever the fuck, they're scared out of the house by, you know, Stinky, Stretch. They really need a entendre name. I don't want to name them individually. They need like...
They're the ghostly trio.
The Ghost 3? Are they the ghostly trio?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Well, I'm not a Casper lore person, so I didn't know there was an actual term for them. The ghostly trio scare off the bullies.
I mean, I did some deep research of watching the movie once, so that's how I know.
So, if you notice, like, they're, like, laughed out of the party, right? And the teacher is, like, celebrating, too. He's, like, front and center, and he's, like, applauding just as hard as the kids. Like, you're a teacher, man.
You're on the clock, bro. Like, you're chaperoning this dance.
Be a little professional.
Whatever, dude. He's probably just, like, fucking drinking in the corner or whatever teachers do.
Imagine telling a parent, yeah, I laughed at your kid. What are you going to do about it? And everybody watched me. And I'm just surprised one of the bad guys from Three Ninjas Knuckle Up didn't pull out a switchblade. You know, that would have been nuts.
What, like the two Abobos?
No, like the rednecks from Knuckle Up.
Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of Kick Back.
Yeah. They pull out switchblades and try to knife the kid in the pizza parlor.
Yeah. I gotta talk about Kat's dress. So, like, when she's up there with Casper and they're, like, rifling through all his old former shit, she finds this dress, and it's meant to be, like, I don't know, like, her really nice dress that she's gonna wear to the dance. Even though earlier she said she wanted a costume. Whatever.
She implies to her dad that she wants a sexy costume. And I feel like that's kind of weird to hear now. At the time, I didn't get it. But, like, that's the implication I got, you know?
Yeah, maybe to a degree. I mean, she's getting older or whatever. She wants to, she wants to attract cute boys, I guess. Devon Sawas of the world. But her dress is awful. I fucking hate it. It's so bad.
Well, it's literally Casper's dead mom's wedding dress, right?
Yeah, it's like her old-timey wedding dress, yeah.
Probably smells like shit. It's been in the attic for God knows how long.
It smells like a corpse.
Casper's like, I pulled this off my mom's corpse. Does it fit?
Yeah, it doesn't look great, but whatever, it's fine. So after Kerrigan is thwarted and Eric Idle is murdered, we kind of get the end closure, which is
a Cinderella moment.
Kat's dead mom comes back as an angel. Why don't you tell us about that, Josh?
Kat's mom comes back as like a fairy godmother, and somehow, just because you're an angel, I guess they. Well, I mean, if you've got the power of God back in you, you know, maybe you can give somebody a Cinderella moment, you know? But they tell Casper, we'll give you one night to be human. You've never done anything noble enough up until this point to earn this right. But now's a special circumstance, and while I'm in town, I'm going to go talk to my husband. Tell him I've moved on, you know, not a thing. But he says, you know, can I get till midnight? They're like, oh, you're 12. And it was at that moment I was like, all of these kids are supposed to be fucking 12? They all look 14, 15, 16. Like, there's no way these kids are 12.
Well, you know, they're always like a little bit older than they're cast as. I mean, traditionally, if they were cast as like 15 or 16-year-olds, they would probably be 25 in the real world.
Yeah, so. I was about to say, one of them's like scratching their 5 o'clock shadow. Yeah, teach. I'm 12.
Yeah, the nun smoking a cigar is probably a real cigar.
Yeah, he's like, I picked up a bad smoking habit. And then, you know, Bill Pullman has his moment with his, you know, dead wife. And unfortunately, you know, she won't let him hit it. She's like, no, I'm an angel. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, what a shame. What a waste. He spent his whole career searching for her to hit it one more time.
Yeah, he's like, what do you think I've been doing all these years? Come on, just touch it. I feel like she felt like she did a good job, but I don't feel like she did a good job by like easing Bill Pullman's pain, you know? She's like, you'll get over it. Trust me. It's like, oh, okay.
If you say so, I mean, you're a fucking angel, I guess. You have powers.
She's like, if you'll excuse me, I've got a baseball game to catch. And she like goes to the angels in the outfield.
Yeah. I gotta go make a kid think his dad's gonna love him again. She does look remarkably like the angel that's massaging Adrian Brody's shoulders in Angels in the Outfield. So, maybe?
I gotta report on duty for this baseball game. We made a promise.
I'm about to fuck up this kid's whole life.
Oh, God.
Alright, so here's the big moment. Casper is made a real boy again in a very, like, Pinocchio-esque fashion. He gets to become Junior Floyd from Little Giants, a.k.a. the actor Devon Sawa. he's cool, right? I mean, that guy was in some
I'm
things.
gonna be honest. I didn't even catch that was Devon Sawa.
Oh, really?
That's young Devon Sawa?
Yeah, you didn't catch him from The Fanatic fame with John Travolta, directed by Fred Durst.
Yeah, you're right. I'm used to him looking like, just a douchebag. Didn't even notice.
He's cool.
I actually know him. I'm most familiar with him from the movie Idle Hands.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know if you're familiar with that. Was he a child actor? This is news to me.
Oh, yeah. So he'd been acting for a couple years. I mean, he was in a few things. He was in another movie with Christina Ricci, actually, somewhere around this time. But yeah, he was in Little Giants. He was like a prominent player in that. And then like as the 90s moved on, he started to be like kind of like a teen or like a young man in his 20s playing a teen in things like SLC Punk. Idle Hands is a familiar one to me as well. Then of course later like Final Destination was a big one for him.
Yeah.
I appreciate Devon Sawa. He's all right. I never see him and I'm like, fuck him. He's cool.
Well, then he, struck gold with The Fanatic,
Exactly. You know what? Here's the thing. I never know what random actors are going to end up listening to our podcast. So, like, after that Surf Ninjas fiasco, you never know.
If you happen to be listening to this, Devin, I am a huge fan. I'm just razzing you.
Yeah.
But The Fanatic, solid.
That's another one I would love to do a podcast on. Like, seriously.
Directed by Fred Durst,
Exactly. But during his transformation as a human, like they have like a dance, but they start flying, right?
Do they start floating?
Yeah, they start like floating, and
I know it caught me off guard when they all broke out into the Backstreet's back dance.
Yeah, he looked like Nick. Yeah.
Yeah. What if that music video is just like happens to be taking place at the same time as the Halloween dance?
But he does get to kiss Kat, and then he turns into Casper like immediately after, and the whole student body sees this and screams and runs away. But I gotta speak on that because when they scream and everyone's like hair like flies up, I've always hated it.
Yeah, especially since the movie's been a little slapsticky, a little tongue-in-cheek, a little cartoonish, but nothing like that, right? That kind of stands out because, like we've seen characters react to this ghost before throughout the movie, and they didn't, their hair wasn't all like George of the Jungle and shit.
No, you just get your neck broken.
The other characters run into these ghosts, they get fucking chopped up with weapons and shit, Like
the ghost can't hurt you. Casper said it.
Ghost can't hurt you. Uppercut. So
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like this would end on like a mass media moment, like an I Am Iron Man type of thing. Like, ghosts are real, everybody. Countless people saw it. There's so many witnesses.
Yeah. So I guess ghosts are real. The whole party leaves. Casper's a ghost again. And they end it on like a stupid, horrible music number.
Oh, God. That's another thing that kind of reminded me of Beetlejuice. I was like, it's not as cool, though.
No, not quite.
Is it a new rendition of the Casper theme?
Yeah.
Played by the ghostly trio.
Exactly.
I guess everybody's all friends now. Power of friendship.
I never really understood, and I still don't understand the transition of Dr. Harvey being like at odds with the ghosts and them being cool with him and like taking him out to go drinking. I never really quite got it. It just happens like suddenly.
Yeah, well, maybe they really bonded over those few beers.
I'd like to think so. Well, let's go into ratings, I think. I think it's time. Why don't you go first, Josh? On any rating scale you want, what are you going to give Casper? Go ahead, hit it.
If average was, just right down the middle of 5 out of 10, then I would go maybe 6.5, maybe 7 if I'm feeling generous.
That seems fair.
This movie's cute, charming. I wasn't, face palming at any point. I feel nostalgic for it, but I don't know if somebody else going into it new may, feel the same way, may find it cute, charming. I'd like to think so. It's definitely something you could still probably show your kids, But somebody older, I don't know if it would hold up for them. It holds up for me, and I think it's a pretty slightly above average type of movie.
I'm going to say right now how I'm feeling, 6 out of 10 cloning machines. I don't think it's necessarily, bad. It is kind of stupid, and it doesn't make sense, that's for sure. But the song from the score, Casper's Lullaby alone, really bumps this up for me. Seriously, I love that piece of music. I can't understate that. It really is one of my favorite pieces of music for movies. And that just elevates it. I mean, I have a lot of nostalgia for it. I watched it a lot as a kid. It reminds me of a very specific time in my life, which is probably always a good way to get me to give a movie a higher rating than I would otherwise.
Yeah. The house design alone I think is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, the production design is great in this movie, and it looks really good. I mean, they made a high quality movie. They didn't fuck around. They were definitely trying to do what they did with the Flintstones and put a lot into this and make it a big event movie, which I think it did end up being pretty successfully.
Now, if they had put just as much effort into something like a Street Fighter or a Mario Brothers movie, maybe the video game movie stigma wouldn't be as, notorious as it was, be kind of like the cartoon adaptation, live action type of thing where they're okay, but Flintstones is okay, I haven't seen it in a while, but it's nothing to get horribly offended over, I think. It's not like Three Ninjas Knuckle Up where me and you were just miserable,
So in that way, this movie is the polar opposite of Three Ninjas Knuckle Up in terms of production value.
Yeah.
A lot of the, not only set design, but the lighting and the way the shots are set up is very nicely handled in this movie, a very professional production. As where Three Ninjas Knuckle Up is thrown together like bullshit. And I feel bad saying that to a degree because of what happened to the director. He was abducted and a prisoner for so long, and they had to go through all this shit, which is really sad. But the movie's still bad, even though that happened to him. So,
It is what it is, you know what I mean? Three Ninjas Knuckle Up's not good, though.
No, it's not. How do we always end up talking about ninja movies? Maybe because we have a ninja series here at Big Dumb Movie.
Oh, yeah. That's still ongoing.
I have a feeling it will forever be ongoing. Once we have enough episodes, it'll just be part of an endless playlist.
Yeah, I know, right? What other movies can we trudge up?
This movie references a ninja. Throw it in. Throw it in the pile.
And while we're on the subject, this is something me and Corey have been talking about. Maybe the audience, maybe you can clear it up. Do you guys consider Double Dragon a ninja movie?
Good question. I would really like to know the answer to that.
We don't know, but we're gonna review it anyway. So it doesn't matter. But do you guys consider them ninjas?
Bimmy and Jimmy.
Bimmy and Jimmy. That's a completely fuck up.
Josh, where can our listeners find you if they want to check out your videos?
All right, so as of right now, I'm on a minor hiatus on my channel. But if you would like to check out some of my content, you can go to Review Inc. Or type Review DOOD, Review Dude, and I make fun of movies. It's what I do.
Yes, indeed. If you listeners at home want to write in, you can email us at bigdumbmovie@gmail.com. Our Instagram is Big Dumb Movie Podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. If you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, leave us a written review and 5 stars if you're feeling friendly. Any final words for the audience, Josh?
Remember, ghosts can't hurt you.
Unless they can.
That's important. And yeah, unless, uppercut. Unless that uppercut catches you off guard, they can't hurt you.
Or gun.
Or unless that gun catches you off guard, they can't hurt you.
It's been a good time. Thank you for joining me, Josh. Thank you all for listening. We love you. Good night.